All right.
Alrighty.
Yep. And fourth episode. So I
Yeah,
don't
dude,
know.
let's go, man. Heck yeah. Glad to be back here again. Let's get into it, man. I know last time we were touching up on some crazy stuff, right? Like a ton of crazy things about, our reality and, how it's always inner to outer, not outer to inner. It can
Yeah.
be inner, it could be outer to inner if you let it, right? If that's the lens that you're wearing is, oh, everything's happening to me.
Yeah.
I think that was a good place that we left off on because it kind of goes deeper too because the very mechanics of this reality too it also relates to your desires and the things that you really want out of this life. Like I don't think that there's a coincidence or just like a random reason why if you feel drawn to really do something like you for example doing this podcast. Like I don't think that it's a coincidence that, oh, like yeah, like I'll just start a podcast. Like me personally, I believe that that is something that is orchestrated from your higher self. That's something that your highest version of you that already exists
Yep.
is like kind of telling you to do that or like giving you the synchronicities or the signs to do that to align yourself with that highest version of yourself. And, it's cool because what you're doing here is a service to others too. And, it's also a service to yourself because, you're making this content and it's from you. It's
Yep.
it's a service to
But
you because it's an
it's
outlet.
together too.
It's a co-created thing to yourself though, in the sense that like, you're also making your own space or platform to be able to voice the things that resonate with you and have people that are on here that also resonate with you. And it ultimately also, it's kind of like you talking back to yourself, right? If we're all one and we're all connected, I'm talking about XYZ, you're talking about ABC. And it's
Yeah.
like, you come back and listen to it later, or I come back and listen to it later, and it's like, wow, I actually said something, or he said something that I low key needed to hear. And, maybe it just takes me saying it, you
Yeah.
know, in the moment for me to actually register it. I'm the type of guy where it's like I have to sometimes experience something to really learn it, because
Yeah.
it could all sound good on paper, like, oh, you shouldn't stay with this girl, or like, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like you find yourself in that position where you end up being that exact position that you keep telling your homies, for example, not to do. And it's
Yeah.
like you got to actually experience it. And I think that's so weird. Like, have you ever been in those positions where like, and I'm not even talking about relationships.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in those positions where like you had to, you would tell like your friends or something that they're going through a certain situation, and like you tell them like bro, like you shouldn't do this or like whatever, and then you end up in the same position, but like it's kind of disguised and you don't really
Yeah.
see it. I had literally just told my friend not to do that or something like that. Like you ended up having to experience it to really learn versus just on pen and paper. Like it sounds like you shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Tell me about that.
Dude, it's so many times it was like every time I give advice, I think it's like me advising myself.
Mhm.
In some one way or another, it's because I think what comes to my mind isn't really things that I've actualized and learned, but it's things I need to hear and embody more. But it's
Uh-huh.
like last time it was like, hey man, like you should like every time you think you're getting angry or something or you're getting emotional, you should do this. And I'm like, do I even do that? You know what I mean? Or like, think about like your intentions or think about what you're doing. I'm like, am I doing that right now? Because I'm kind of like a
Yeah.
little bit off the hinge, like,
Yeah.
going crazy and like some regards and completely ignoring other parts. And I'm like almost every time, like 99% of the time, it's like you're saying it, but if you could easily be on the other side.
Yeah.
And if you can't, like, I feel like I should need to stop saying you, but like, if a person can't
It's all
see
me, man.
themselves,
Like you directed it all at me.
no, because I keep
Yeah.
talking second person and it's like, yeah,
I do the same thing.
yeah. So it's like, it's kind of like that, where it's just like pretty much the other person you're talking to them, they're bringing out a certain part of you for a reason. And then so you're being there as like sort of the advisor, the guy who's grounding them. But, that same person could ground you.
No, but I
Yeah.
was I was just thinking the same thing. Even though you're grounding the person in the moment, they're also like pre-grounding you almost. Like they're like
Yeah.
it's like, well, why am I being a witness as awareness? Why am I witnessing this moment right now? How
Yep.
does this relate to me?
Yep.
Somehow, like I'm somehow in the even in the most like minute way, even that
Yeah.
it's my situation, associate with this person. They are constantly in these positions. Why am I associating with this person that's constantly in these
Yep.
situations?
Yep.
And then
Yep.
it's like, okay. And then it's funny because then when you end up in the same situation that you told homie or girl or whatever not to do, and you're like, oh, that's why. That's why
Yeah.
I was a witness to that. Or it's a completely different situation with the underlying lesson, because that's another one, bro, that I would love to talk about is the underlying lessons that, you know, we find ourselves in, whether they're repeated situations or whether they're situations that on paper look completely different, but
Yeah.
they have the same like underlying theme or lesson, and it's usually rooted in like either the energy center or like or it's just rooted in like, if you believe in karma, like it's
Yeah.
part of your karma, or like it's just a lesson that you have to learn. Like even if you don't want to get all woo about it, like if it's just something you have to learn, right? Dude, I understand what you mean. It's like you're almost you're trying to help the other person, but in a way it's like you're kind of talking to yourself either
Yeah.
before you end up in the same situation, and then
Yeah.
hopefully that brings some awareness if then later on you almost find yourself in a position where you could either make the same decision that they did or you don't. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
trippy. I know.
Dude, it's I don't even know. I'm like having a hard time explaining it as well. From it's just like it's not even sometimes. It's like almost every time. I got to hear it myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's been more of that than anything for me, dude. It's like I'm like thinking about so many things right now that I'm like, dang, I said so much shit, and I'm like, do I even fall? Like, dude, I get caught up in this whole thing. I'm like, am I being hypocritical? Because you're saying stuff,
Imposter.
and I'm like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't say anything because it's like I don't do it myself. But what I'm saying is true. Even if I don't follow it, it doesn't make it any less true, in my opinion.
That's a tricky one, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah,
And that's why I kind of said imposter syndrome, because it's like, someone can be preaching, oh, I don't care. It's
yeah,
like we'll be talking about what we talk about right now or in
yeah,
the last. And then, dude, sometimes I get so freaking caught up in like these illusions, or like the ego is like, you're this person doing this, and therefore you got to act this way, or you know what I mean?
identity politics, kind of thing.
Identity politics, like,
Yeah,
and this is where embodiment comes in. This is where embodiment comes in. Unless it's you've actually embodied what you've learned, it's just entertainment. It's
yeah,
just fluff and like, spiritual foo-foo, or like, whatever, like this echo chamber of, I'm so deep, but like you're not, because it's
yeah,
just like, you've gathered all this knowledge, but what the heck are you doing with it? Because here you are not living your own truth. That's what it comes down to, is like living your own truth. And
yeah,
you know the imposter syndrome, where like you feel like you're telling somebody, you're just like if you tell someone not to do something, but then you're like, wait a second, you ask yourself, kind of like what I said last time, you point the finger at somebody and you
you're
got
funny.
how many fingers pointing back at you, right?
Yeah,
It's like, okay, I'm telling somebody not to do something, am I doing that? And
yeah,
then I think that, part of it is not even just imposter syndrome, but it's just like, it's just checking yourself. I think that's good that you do that, dude, because, even though it might show up as a feeling as, oh shit, I'm kind of a fraud right now, or like, oh,
yeah,
like, or that you do the same crap that you're telling somebody else not to, at least you're aware of it, because you know how many people, again, and this is not to shun or shame anybody that does this, because again, even I catch myself in these
it's
situations.
everyone to a certain
Everybody,
degree.
bro. Where it's like, not to do something, or you'll see somebody do something, you're like, dude, why is that person doing that? And then you'll do the same thing in your own way.
Yeah,
You doing that thing. You walk into the bathroom, you walk into the public bathroom. I'm talking about LA Fitness and freaking
yeah,
LA, and like, or you know what? I'm not even gonna use them as a direct example because I don't want like to slander their name, whatever, bro. If they end up seeing this, but like any public gym, and you go into like the bathroom and it just smells bad, dog, and you're like, yo, like this person did something, ate something, and then it's like, okay, and how was yours this morning? By the way, in your own bathroom, how was it? Right? Like,
exactly.
like that's the thing. It's like we are so quick. It's not to be glorified, but it's still one that I think it is important to acknowledge that, hey, you know what? Even though it might show up as a feeling of like, feeling bad because you might be calling somebody out on the same thing that you do, or you do the same thing in your own manner or whatever. Good
Yeah,
to at least acknowledge it, because I think then it's like it comes down to, okay, maybe you're going to be more careful next time when you try to tell somebody something.
yeah,
And also just promoting self-awareness. And ultimately that's what we need to be doing, is we need to be constantly conscious about what we're thinking and what vibration are we putting out, because that ultimately affects everybody we come across, including ourselves, most importantly. But you know, everybody that you come across, you're sending those energy signals of whatever it is that you're currently embodying,
And that's
and
what it
that
means
would,
to be in the present,
yeah,
in a
dude,
way. That's like,
totally,
how else would you be in the present if you're just caught up in your own thought stream? Like, that's not really being present. And
no,
I think, dude, a lot of times what I get triggered by, or that's something that irritates me, bugs me, even if it's come from a good place, it tells me something about myself. It's like, why am I so mad? Why am I getting so emotionally charged up right now? You know?
yeah,
Like, I don't know,
yeah,
dude. It's like
yeah,
sometimes it's stupid.
no, I
Like,
get
if I look at a Prius, I'm like, ah, shit, something's gonna happen. I don't know. Just looking at Priuses down the
it.
road,
Why
dude. I'm gonna,
Prius? I get it, but
yeah.
like that.
So many times, like Priuses, the way they drive, they like merge, they like bordering on the lane. Like they either drive super slow or super fast. There's really
Oh,
no in
I
between.
already know what you mean by the border thing. They'll be right there, and then they'll kind of go like this, but then turn away.
And I'm like,
Hate that.
this guy does not know how to drive, bro. And then half the time, it's just like, I always think about, I'm like, is there like a certain type of person that gets attracted to Priuses and buys them? You know? And I'm like trying to do this whole like, you just watch like a crime show, detective, you're trying to fucking profile the Prius owner or some shit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's some dumb shit. I'm like, why am I so concerned about who the Prius owner is? And
And I know that you're looking in there at the window when you pass them.
of
You're like,
course, who the fuck is this
this
guy?
guy. Like,
Exactly. And I'm like, I still don't really know why it triggers me. Or if I see like some 17-year-old girl driving like a Jeep, I'm like, dang. It doesn't upset me, but I'm like, there's some kind of a reaction, and I don't know what it is yet. It
there's,
happened
I
just the
think,
other day. Yeah.
I think,
I'm
yeah, I
like,
think you're catching yourself just like, because you know what we do, right? You know what we do? I love this one. We, again, and we talked about this last time too, but I'm bringing it up under this context and also in a different way. We are always wearing a lens, always. And what happens is when we see something, what we instantly do is it's like, okay, all my experiences, all my perceptions, let me bounce it off. Like, let me throw it at something and have it bounce back towards me. All my crap, all my like perceptions, let me just throw it like at something.
yep,
And then that's how we see, right? The minute you look at something, it's instantaneous.
yep,
It's like instantly you have that little bounce back effect of all the stuff in your head because you're trying to just articulate it off of you,
yeah,
the perceived you, I like to call it, and or the ego. And it's like, you know and it's funny because it kind of reminds me of people that get road rage. I used to be
yeah,
that way, and I sometimes still get that way, but it's a lot more relaxed. Like, actually today, driving down the highway, I'm like, all excited, you know what I mean? I'm like going to Vitamin Shop to get my pre-workout, and this person is just driving really slow. And then she's like, she's about to go off into like the lane, right? And I'm over here, and then last second, she's like, "Ugh," and I'm like, yo. And I literally like that's how I was my reaction. I was like, yo, what are you doing? Me back then, I would have been like, and I still did. I still humped the horn like that.
yeah,
But it wasn't like angry. It was just like, hey, I'm here.
yeah,
I don't want to bang up your car. I definitely don't want to bang up mine. Any of
yep,
that. I'm trying to go
yeah,
get my pre-workout and go work out. I don't want you to die. But
yeah,
it was a different thing because I'm aware of how I would usually get. And I remember when I would get all the road rage and this and that. Number one, people would get scared because they see me all pissed off. Like, I'm not pretty when I'm pissed off. And then it started turning into when someone cuts me off or does something crazy, maybe they're just trying to get somewhere. Maybe they're late. Maybe, whatever it is. Maybe like literally like their wife is pregnant and like they gotta rush them to the hospital. Or, I don't know. I don't know. Like, maybe they're trying to run away from some serial killer. I don't know. And I'll never know. And
yeah,
it was one of those things that kind of like made me question the process, or be not even question it, but be more aware of the process, that bounce back process. And I
yeah,
don't, maybe that's got to be a title, like the bounce back process, where it's like, okay, like being aware of it, even if it like you still, even when you observe that bounce back process, you don't like what's coming back to you.
Yeah.
Or what is, or I don't even know what I'm feeling when I see the person driving the Jeep. Maybe, oh, basic as hell, like basic person, or like, you
Yeah.
know, whatever it is, at least you're conscientious of it versus just like you continue on with your day,
Yeah.
right? You're at least asking yourself, okay, what's actually going on in my bounce back process? Because that's how you could start to shift it if you don't like it.
Yep.
If you've observed it and you're like, hey, I like judging the heck out of this person, I'm gonna keep doing it, the more power to you. But at least being able to recognize it, because that's what all this stuff that's happening outside of us is trying to do anyway, is really just trying to show you who you really are and like what's already within you. Because everything that we already see is also us. Again, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Whatever, okay, I'm learning something about how I see things. Why do I see it that way actively at this moment? So, like just understanding that bounce back process,
Yeah.
because at least you're being aware of it versus, again, not the
Same to you, dude.
thanks,
Because
bro.
otherwise, like, how would you know what your reality is? Because I think
Mhm.
what happens is like these kind of things go unchecked, and it doesn't have to be like car thing. It could be anything. It's like
Yeah.
you, and then sometimes you're like, oh, I feel this way, but I don't want to admit I'm feeling this way. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, I'm not actually angry. It's that, they almost like, and then you start finding excuses about why you're actually feeling that way,
Yeah.
rather than trying to like pursue the truth of like what is actually happening
Yeah.
with you. And I think that kind of cope you get lost in, and then you just lose sight of like what your reality is and how you truly feel about it because you have so many stories for what you're going through.
Yeah.
And
That's deep.
because once you get there, it's like, now which story do I pick? What's convenient for me? It goes more on that side of things rather than like what is actually true. What is the real reasons I'm feeling it?
Yeah.
Like I go to a thing, I go to a mall, I get scared of this person. Like why? Oh, it's because like I'm, and then you do like, no, I don't get scared. It's like, I don't know, dude. We have a reaction towards everything. It's just the finer and finer your like awareness gets,
Yeah.
you just notice it
Yeah.
because it's a small stimulus, and that's just like seeing like it's like, oh, why have 20/20 vision? Why not just be like half blind? I can still see vague shapes. It's like that.
It's like you get used to it. Yeah. I'll call myself out again. Like, I've dealt with a specific injury for a while, so long that like I've kind of gotten used to it. I work around it
Yep.
when I know that you should probably check that out and stop slamming weights so damn hard. It's like,
Hmm.
no, but it's fine. It's like I get comfortable in my discomfort, and kind of the same thing. It's like, you know, why cut yourself short? Like
Yeah.
why like you said, okay, you could have 20/20 vision, but you're over here cool with being half blind because it gets you by.
Yeah.
And it's just it's the path of least resistance, which we're programmed to do again anyway on a biological level. How
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Where, because on the deepest part of ourselves, like, like it's probably some, I don't know, like survival mechanism or hunting instinct, even, where it's like, okay, just find the easiest piece of food and like eat it.
Yeah.
Have to go all the way out there when I got food right here.
It's like compromising. It leads to just
Compromising, yeah.
compromising in life about whatever you want, whether
Mhm.
it's your dream, whether it's even
Or
small
just you,
things. Yeah.
even just you, because it's like, okay, like how real are you ready to keep it with yourself?
Yeah.
Because you, like you said, it's like, people will easily feed themselves these delusions to keep everything, including their reality, just like as predictable as possible. Like, oh, this person freaks me out. Why? Oh, because this. The
Yeah.
mind, I'll tell you right now what it is. The ego will
Yeah.
like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's completely something different. And it's like, stems back maybe to when you were a child, right? It's
Most
like
of the
your inner,
time.
yeah, most
Yeah.
of the time, it's like your inner child inside is just like, bro, like I'm freaking scared right now. Like, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 you're good, bro. You're good.
Then you
And like,
compensate. You do
yeah,
something to compensate for those emotions. Then you're like now fucking building layers on top of this shit that you're
right.
just because you're avoiding it. You're either trying to pull it closer or trying to push it away. And it creates all these compounding effects. And then like because you can't be with the emotion, you can't be with the feeling, you can't be with the stimulus. And no
Yeah,
matter what the stimulus is, it could be the most attractive girl in front of you, or it could be someone trying to kill you.
yeah,
It's like you got to be able to recognize that that is that person and be okay with it. Otherwise, you're gonna do shit that is involuntary, that seems involuntary, but it's just you trying to understand and digest that stimulus and what you should do. And that's like, I think the thing. And then it ruins your internal stability at that point because it's like, when you're riding a bike and you feel like, oh my God, I hit something and this is your first time riding a bike, you like overcompensate. you move way much to the left, and now you're falling to the left
Right.
because of a
Right.
perceived thing that is happening on the right. It's like, oh my
Mhm.
God, there's a right. And I'm like, you're just fucking 90 degrees swing on the handlebars and like you're gonna fall for sure. And so I
Dude,
think it's kind of like that, dude. It's like
yeah.
you overreact because of it. And the more you're able to have that balance, then it's like even if you're like rock like mountain biking and you see like you're jumping over a rock, you're able to handle it because you're able to
Yeah.
maintain your balance through it. You're able to be with the stimulus. That could be the hot guy or like the hot girl or
Yeah.
like the pretty much like some guy that you think is like your perceived danger or perceived
Right.
attraction. Pretty much.
Right.
That's the nutshell. Yeah, it could be anything.
You made me think about how, the bike example, how many car crashes actually happen because
Oh,
people
dude,
compensate, bro. Like, it's
100%.
so crazy. Like, they will,
Yeah.
like, completely swerve out of the way because there was a car that was like, I'm in the lane, but I could leave. But, like,
Hmm.
if I feel like it, maybe I'll go back this way. And
Yeah.
and you might see that and be like, you're just chilling, you're like listening to music, you're jamming out, and then you look to your corner and you see the car. And then
Yeah.
you didn't know that grandma was over here driving 40 miles an hour. You completely knock her lights out, and now you're cooked. So,
Yep.
I've seen that happen so many times, and it's like so crazy to me, man, because the level of overcompensation sometimes also directly correlates with how much, you know, maybe anxiety you have already within you too. Like,
Yeah.
what's the source of the fuel that's causing you to also overcompensate in that way? Even just like
Yeah.
the bike example, maybe like on a social level, like social anxiety, where you feel like you got to just pretend to be somebody to be accepted versus like being your true authentic self. Like,
Yeah.
I've been there too, where it's like I don't show my true side of myself, like the nerdy side of me that loves Star Wars and all this stuff. And it's like
Yeah.
because I perceive a threat if I am my true self, which is
Yeah.
crazy because then it ultimately, like you said, it pulls you away and puts layers on top of yourself, right?
Yep.
And then coming back to yourself, you gotta kind of peel back those layers again. Now it's not just a
100%.
layer; it's a freaking scab.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
by that time, dude, I think then in your around your life, you have like some people that are liking your outer layer. And now you're like attracting inauthenticity.
I know what you're.
If you want to like wash something with oil, you can't wash it with water. If you wash it with oil, like oil attracts oil. So
Yeah.
like it's like polar versus non-polar compounds.
you
Yeah.
you you are now switching your default source to something else, which then only makes you compatible with the same source that you've switched yourself to. But
Yeah.
like it wasn't your original one, it was just the one that you eventually switched over to. Instead of attracting, you're chasing. It's the same kind of dynamic, like trying to fit into a certain, and this is like high school dynamics at this point, but like, it's like
Yeah.
wanting to be part of the cool kid,
Another.
perceiving something in them
Yeah.
that you think that you don't have
Yep.
for whatever reason, but it's just a whole different dynamic. And it's like you try to, and I'm doing the you thing, not you, but you know what I mean. Like
Oh,
one,
that it's fine.
one.
And
But I'm trying to
yeah.
start. I'm trying to start use that more to be more like direct about what I'm saying. Like if one is like trying to fit in, it's like again the overcompensation thing, and it's really stemming from like what's going on within you, dog? Like what is it that's in you that does not feel? Where do you not accept yourself? Because then
Yep.
you have to find that validation outside of yourself through a
Yep.
relationship, through these friend groups, and then you end up being more miserable anyway because you're like, dude, this isn't even like my true essence or my true like, you know, energetic embodiment.
Yeah.
I just wanted it because I felt shamed for, or I felt, like I wasn't accepted either within myself or because people didn't understand my true self.
Yeah.
Feeling misunderstood.
And just to add on to that, dude, I think when you're starting being unauthentic and try to fit in, right? You're trying to change yourself, whatever you can to fit in, then you're going to be surrounded by people that are like sort of inauthentic because you kind of the vibe goes together, right?
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is then if you all of a sudden want to be authentic, and that's the group that surrounds you, it's like you trying to be like an oil molecule in a sea of oil and you're trying to change to water. Everything's going to repel against you at that point. So
So
then you're
true.
trying to be authentic and people like all of a sudden be like, "Oh, dude,
Right.
what the hell? You fucked it up." Like this, that,
Yeah.
whatever. And now you're like wondering, "Oh, holy shit, maybe people don't like that part of me." But it's not that. It's not really like they don't like it. It's just like they're getting triggered because you're trying to be authentic, and if you don't care about what other people think, well, everyone else does. You think you're special, like you know what I mean? Then
Yeah.
there's like judgment
Yeah.
upon
Yeah.
you, and
Yeah.
then you take that personally. So then all these things, like, because I think we put ourselves in a certain condition when we're like being inauthentic half the time, and half the time we want to be authentic. That's like I
Yeah.
feel like what everyone wants to be, but it's like that's really hard to do. You either are yourself or you're
Or you're
not.
not.
Yeah. And then so that's I think the challenge that most people encounter is they're in a situation most of the time, decades of interacting in a certain way, putting on a certain mask. And they're like, I'm miserable and no one notices me. It's like, because that's the environment. You know what I mean? That's kind of what's been built. And if you don't recognize that as important and try to change that, and you just try to keep changing yourself a certain way, it's like you got to accept that people will go. When you're
Yeah.
trying to be authentic, you got to accept people won't like you. And you got to understand where that's coming from. Because
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
even yeah,
yeah,
because there's gonna be people, and I've had this happen to me where there's people that choose to hold on. I'm feeling like I've also briefly touched upon this in the last one, but like where people hold on to an old image of you, right?
yeah.
Because you go through some
Oh, yeah.
paradigm
I
shift
remember.
in yourself where you change and like you've come to realize these deeper things and like really getting back to your true self
Yeah.
without the conditioning, without the influences in the media, all these influencers trying to put stuff on you, and people, friends that have these certain ideologies, and you just kind of agree with it in passing to not bring up any conflict.
Friction.
And then that's the thing is that then they think, oh, well, he didn't give me any friction with what I brought up, so he
Yeah.
must be on the same page as me. So then they keep enabling it and they keep doing it, and then you're not really cool with it, but you're just
Yeah.
kind of like, I've known him for a long time, so like, they're just being them and I'm being me, but they don't really know that I'm being me because they think that this version of me that's standing in front of them is agreeing with them. You know
Yep.
what I mean? But people
And
will
no
hold
one's
on.
at fault. And
Yeah,
then
no, no, dude,
that's
no
the
one's at
thing. You
fault.
can't blame
Yeah,
anyone. Oh, it's your fault.
dynamic.
Yep.
There's a bit of both on both ends because
Yeah.
it's like this person is putting on this. It's like, okay, I'm enabling it because right. This person's doing XYZ. I'm the
Yeah.
one. It's ultimately really always your fault, even in
Yeah.
a negative way.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like you're always responsible for the reality that you live. Use your discernment when I say that because there's cases and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, it always boils down to you because it's like, how are you going to respond to that on a vibrational level? You're always in charge of your vibration no matter what happens to you. So that's where you always have control and you always have the power. And hence why how you react after something happens or when you experience something is still on you. That's why, like in this situation, it's like if someone is telling me like stuff that I don't align with anymore, and it's like, oh, like
Yeah.
I've changed so much as a person, and they don't know that, like they're gonna keep giving me the stuff that they give me, the ideas that they have that don't resonate with me, or like the behaviors, really the behaviors. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you really ready to let that go? Are you ready to just be like, yo, dude, not gonna lie, don't really resonate with anything that we're talking about. This is my truth. And then from there, people are either gonna like it or not. But like the point is that like people will hold on to certain images of you that existed 3, 4 years ago and still think
Yeah.
it's current. And it's
A-
crazy because
And they think
it's
the
all about,
current authenticity thing is a phase,
yeah.
you know? And then they're like, he's gonna be back. Like, and
I
almost those expectations kind of drag you down a little bit.
no, you,
I
you
do
know
know,
what
but
you're
I'm
talking
just like, I'm too
about.
lazy to like finish the explanation again. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like, I mean, you get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that like when people also start to notice that shift in you, they'll
Yeah.
try to bring you back.
Yep.
They'll try to bring you back. Like they'll be like, oh, she did
Yeah.
that. And like all these things. Like just an example. Or like, they'll just like keep talking about the same problems and like, whatever. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm kind of throwing shade right now.
It's like you're
Yeah.
calling out everybody and nobody at the same time. So it's, yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't know, man. It's just like, that just brings a lot of memories like high school, college, where it's just like people are trying to kick people out or trying to create all this drama, politics. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of people do that because they're uncomfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
Like if we just think about the root authenticity or inauthenticity issue, it's just people are uncomfortable being themselves because they feel like they're not going to be accepted. And I feel like a lot of times that could be true, where you don't really have an environment that supports you. But I don't know, there's like certain thing around even wanting to be accepted,
Yeah.
which is like a validation that what you're going through is real. And I think everyone's reality is their own, like no one's reality is going to be like another person's reality. So we're all coping to some degree when we
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
And I think all this kind of chaos is just the cost of it, maybe. Like what goes in social
For sure.
media, it's like how people cope. It's just like, because we're trying to not only say that what we are experiencing is real, but we're also trying to understand other people's experiences. And I think that's kind of a difficult thing to do, like to do have both at the same time, because you have to have enough confidence and stability within yourself to understand you deeply. And I think that goes back to that perception thing, you know, where you have a strong understanding about what you're going through, how you're based, and where do you have these reactions come from? I look at a Prius, I look at a Jeep, I understand what's happening. So then when you are looking at other people's reactions, there is a certain level of empathy that you can feel with them because you understand yourself deeply. So you're able to
Yes,
understand them better.
yes.
And
But
sooner
only
or
to the
later,
extent that you understand yourself, though.
yeah, exactly.
That's the limiting factor. Is
Yeah,
only to the extent that you know yourself and understand yourself. That's the point of empathy. But also, it's like, judging somebody else is to the extent that you already can judge yourself as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think sooner or later, it's like they don't know about, like, you and them have different realities. There's
Yeah.
gonna be a point where it's like, well, this guy is gonna see things a little bit differently than I am. Am I
Mhm.
gonna say that denies my own truth? Or am I gonna say, you know what I mean? Then I think the end goal is that both of them are equally true and being okay with that. It's not like
Yeah.
one is great, because we always look for these power things of like, which one is
Much
better?
better.
Which one's greater?
Yeah.
Truth of reality. And it's just like, man, yeah. And then so many variables go into that. It's like, so one is like, how well is that person able to articulate their point? How well do they understand their point even? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If a
Right.
person's at an
Right.
early stage of understanding their perspective, and you're like, no, my perspective, like whatever the other person's perspective is going to be, is going to feel better. It's going to look
Yeah.
better because it's more
Yeah.
in depth. They dug deeper, and so, and dude, yeah, I think operating from that understanding is going to be huge, and I think that's what might create that bonding of like everyone's able to understand and be with themselves and each other,
Yeah.
because you can't go beyond the realm of yourself. Yeah.
I think that another point to make too is, kind of like how we were talking about before, that each person is a walking set of infinite dimensions. So it's like, I think that on a collective level, hopefully, like
Yeah.
this track of empathy and like introspection, it's
Yeah.
like, that track, and I feel like this is happening, hopefully, where it's
Hmm.
like we're going on this trend of more and more people are on that, kind of track. But there's always going to be those others that don't necessarily reach that point of, okay, like introspection for myself and then empathy for others. And
Yeah.
that's just because there's an infinite set of dimensions.
Yeah.
I think what's important about this is that there's free will and that you have your own choice still at the end of the day of what you really want to do and how you really want to carry yourself. And I think that once you make that determination, if you're committed to it, then there you go.
And that
You
free will
develop
thing
that
is
life and that
huge.
reality for yourself. Yeah.
I'm like, bro, it's like every time you think that you have to do this, you just get reminded you don't always have to. Like, no matter
Right.
what it is, right?
Yeah.
In a
You put a
way.
lot of pressure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could just be a shitty person tomorrow, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And it's because at the end of the day, no matter where you're at, you're there. It's like you're climbing a mountain. If I want to get to the peak, I have to go towards it. I think in this context we're talking about, there's no linearity to things. Things are so
Yes.
non-linear.
Right.
You
Right.
like going up the mountain could be, or you know what I mean? So then
You
sometimes
got to
going
take like
backwards
one
is
step down to like be able to climb up.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, so a lot of times we try to like fucking figure it out with our mind of like, oh man, I gotta go this way. That it's like, dude, no, it's like it's sort of guided. And then that's where like that whole guided sentiment that
Yes.
Joseph, that's so resonant, is because like you can rack your brains around like, yeah, dude, I'm like judging this person, I'm doing this, it's like that, and then you should feel all this guilt, shame, like, ah, but I gotta not do that next time. And all of a sudden you're
Yeah.
putting your pressure on yourself, thinking that if you go there, that's best for you,
Yeah.
and that's where you want to be, and then you don't feel anymore. It's like, well, that's kind of the thing is, every time you set an expectation of like this is how it should be, that expectation will be broken, and it'll just be like, well, now what's the reality? And then so I think there's this weirdly unique way of like, I think that you've done is like embracing the principles in a way that you're not really harsh with it, where you're like, this is the law. Like, you know what I mean? There's like punishment, reward kind of a setting.
Mhm.
It's more like just the more we can observe how these things are, your body and mind automatically react to it, and they know kind of how to do it and how to deal with
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
that kind of a thing.
And yeah, totally. And it's important to recognize too when you're acting and when you're responding from a place of fear or from previous conditioning
Yep.
versus responding proactively and trying to determine what's the best course for you in terms of reaction or vibrational change based on, what reality you prefer to observe. So like again, if you get a speeding ticket, for an example, you get a
Hmm.
speeding ticket and the cop is like, state trooper, whatever, he's like, yo, like $300. You can either choose to be like, all right, like fine, accept it, or like try to politely, like in the most, like, I don't know, whatever, like just be like, hey, like, you think you can help me out here? I'm sorry. Like I like own up to your mistake, essentially is what I'm trying to say. Or
Yeah.
you could be like the dude that's like, what the fuck? It's like one of them is more on the sense of, okay, like I'm trying to from here choose an easier reality, not easy like easy way out, but one that is probably going to still shift me to my highest timeline versus reacting from a place of fear or a place of instinctual reaction. And then
Yeah.
that just leads you down a whole nother rabbit hole of possibilities. Because
Yeah.
ultimately it's like, what reality do you want to observe? Like what do you want to shift to? We're always shifting to different segments of reality, like we talked about last time. So it's like, what do you want to do? Like it's one of those checkpoints when you're in the game and it's like you're playing an RPG and it's like, what do you want to say?
Yeah.
What do you want to say to the person asking you a question, or that's like whatever, where do you
Yeah.
want to go on the map? It's the same kind of deal. And this is very synchronistic because I was just taking notes on this yesterday about like listening and leaning into your higher self and what your higher self, or God, whatever you believe in, like is trying to, there's some guidance that's going on, like a
Yeah.
game, like you
Yeah.
said, like there's, if you really observe carefully, you watch Solo Leveling, the
I read it.
Oh, there you go. Like the
Yeah.
freaking dialogue.
Yep.
Same thing. The dialogue that comes up, it's like, oh, like, this is what you got going on. Got to
Yeah.
do today, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like, what are you going to do next? We observe the checkpoints. It's going to be a lot easier. And you can take those few steps back or climb down those little steps down the mountain before taking the big one up, like you said. So, I think that it's really important to just, again, like really check in with yourself and what
No,
was it
it's
that
like
we talked about before we got into this?
I don't remember, dude.
No, 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 no. Come on.
Dude, I think it at the end of the day, I think this has to do with like your mastery of life. Like you can't control your things too much. You can't be like it's more about the
Yes.
why. Why do you want it? And then the
Yes.
more you crystallize the why, the more you're able to put your intention towards it, crystallize the why, the how and the what will kind of take care of itself.
Yes.
And I think that's what really that 2020 internal vision gets you is your ability to interact with the why in a way where it truly aligns with yourself.
Yes.
Like it's not
Yes.
just that, it's more than that. So it's just like, maybe I feel frustration because it's like when people are posing it serves me as like inauthentic, or it's like, people want like it's like for me, maybe some part of it that I observed was like I think way too much Priuses, bro. Every time I'm on the road, I see these things. So it's like people
There's
want
a
a
lot in
gas
Cali,
efficient
right?
car.
That's where you're at, right?
Huh? Yeah, yeah, dude.
Can't really
It's
blame.
the one time I got surrounded at a Prius in front, Prius all. It's like I was like a box, and I was in a box of Priuses, bro.
I'm sorry.
Worst nightmare, dude. I think it was like you want a gas efficient car, right?
Yeah.
50, 60, 70 miles per gallon,
Yeah.
and then you just like pedal to the floor.
Yeah.
Either that or like you're so slow, you're holding up traffic, and
Right.
so it's like either of them are like this representation of like not greed, but like I don't know. There's something around like comfort. I still don't know to the fullest extent, but
I
I
get
guess
it.
what I'm yeah.
I think I got it.
Well, what is it?
Staying too much in one end of a polarity. So
Yeah.
like I'm gonna use Star Wars again as an example.
Yeah, yeah.
Like be way too much on the dark side,
Mhm.
so freaking into the light that you just like there's no darkness. There's no darkness for you to perceive. There's no darkness that exists because there's only light. So you're not acknowledging the other side, the other side of things, which this is a very dualistic reality that we live in,
Yep.
right? So, and this is where a lot of non-dualist people will say, no, but like it's all the same, it's all one energy. And yes,
Yeah.
but so as long as we're still here, and I love to say the meat suit, as long as we're in the meat suit here, like we're gonna experience the polarity of the one energy. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see the times where it's really dark. We're gonna see the times where it's really light. So to use your example, it's like and what you were saying. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. If this is not what you were trying to say, you're either pressing the gas way too much, going so fast that you're completely wasting all your gas, or you're going so slow because you're trying to save up your gas that you
Yeah.
end up holding traffic. It's like you got to find that midpoint, the balance, the yin and the yang. You got to find the balance to where you are perfectly able, or as much as you're able to, because as much as you're able to is also balance. If you
Yeah.
find the point of where you could do it the most without putting so much pressure on yourself, like you were saying, and that it flows, you're in the flow state, even if it's not, you're not as balanced as somebody else might want you to be. They're really
Yeah.
just projecting how their level of balance is to them or where they want to be, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're able to maintain your own equilibrium, you're chilling because you got to find that point where you're not holding up like the whole freaking highway.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
dude, they gotta like fill up their gas tank like once every 2 weeks or every once
yeah,
a month. Like, God sakes. I think it's that like sort of I think you're touching upon the right point around like both the extremes. And I
yeah,
guess some part of me when I'm in both the extremes, I don't like it. I don't like it when I'm there. And
who
so
does?
I'm almost also projecting, being like, these dumbass Prius drivers can't fucking figure it out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I'm like, I could see myself being that dumbass Prius driver. So that's why I hate him. Because I think there's a part of me that I just don't have a good relationship with it.
yeah. Maybe
I'm
you
not
just
able to accept it.
that's not even gonna lie, and like this is like kind of off topic, but like so on topic at the same time. It's like the people that like raging, and I mean like ragingly hate gay people, for example. Like I'm
Jeez.
just like not getting political.
Yeah.
It just exists. Hate
Yeah.
does exist within people. So it's like the people that hate it, a lot of them are closeted.
Yeah.
But like a lot of them are closeted, not being their truest self, or they're just not feeling like they can express their true selves, even if they're not gay. But like, maybe they grew up in a household where like, they weren't able to express themselves in the fullest fashion because maybe when
Like
they did, they got,
feminine behavior. Even
yeah, yeah,
that. Some guys aren't
yeah.
even gay. They just like are a
That's what
bit
I
more
mean.
feminine. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's kind of the splitting point. This is kind of what I mean by the compassion thing that we talked about last time. I know I'm
Yeah.
kind of veering off topic, but I just
No,
feel
no,
like to
go with it.
mention it's this is the checkpoint. When you observe that there's those things going on, right? It's not to just completely spiritually bypass it or like just bypass it overall. I'm just saying that like it's still a choice on your end to choose how you want to respond to observing that if you're not already participating in said hate, whatever it might be, gays, for example, or like feminine people,
Or
or
Priuses.
yeah,
I gotta stop.
dude,
Dude,
you
going a
definitely
little
have to
too hard
title
on the
one of these
Priuses.
shorts. You have a choice. These damn Priuses, dog.
Dude,
There's a
I
part of me that
swear.
resonates with that. There's a part
Yeah.
of me. I saw one yesterday, and I was like, it was one of the newer ones though. This
The
Prius is
Prius,
kind of.
yeah.
I get it, dude.
The
Freaking like
2000 like 14 to 19, they look
yeah.
so dumb too. I think that part irritates me a little bit more. It's like every other car has a cool design, and Prius is out here looking like a fucking bubble, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, some part of that, it just adds on to everything that they do, bro.
A part of me is also kind of feeling like, okay, well, they made it look so dumb. They wasted all these materials, all these rare earth minerals to
Yeah.
make a dumbass looking car. I
I
get
mean,
it.
even
I
the
get it.
Bolt or those like I call them rat cars, but they like hold like one person, maybe two, and it's like
Yeah,
super small and it's like
yeah.
really
I know.
tall.
I see them a lot. Like,
Yeah, they're getting more
like,
and more.
and I know that they get no range. Every time that I see one of those, it's either
Yeah.
they're on their way to a charger or they're at a charger. It's never anywhere else. So
What's the
I don't know.
point? That
I
where's
don't
your
know.
dignity?
But
I
then,
don't know.
but then,
That's their
but
dignity.
then
But
there's the
like,
but then gas
why
is
does
too
it bother me?
expensive for
I
somebody.
don't know.
Well, I'm not even saying
No, no,
that.
sorry.
That too. I mean,
That's
hey,
another
that
thing.
too. But then it's like the compassion thing again. This is the point that I was trying to bring home was
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like but I don't really know why that person chose that car. That could be the only car that was affordable in the market. Gas is too expensive. That person's struggling so hard to the point where they had to get that car because gas was too expensive, and that was the only EV that they could afford. Have
Yeah.
to live off free charging stations.
Yeah.
And the thing is that that could not be the reason. They could just personally like that car so much. Dude, I remember when I was a kid, I used to be obsessed. You know which car I used to be obsessed with? It was the Scion. What was it? It was a Scion.
Oh,
It was the
yeah,
box
yeah,
one.
yeah.
You hated that car.
The hatchback?
No, it wasn't
Scion
two door.
FC. Oh,
I don't remember the name of it, dude. It's
I think my
XA.
roommate had it.
I don't know. It was something like that. I
Nice.
wanted that car so bad. Dream car. I never got it, but
Yeah.
dream car as a kid, I would see them and I would like daydream about it. It's like to somebody else, they'd be like, "That car sucks ass," and I'm over here like, you
Is it the
know, like
TC?
I think
Scion
so.
TC?
Let me see.
All right, I'm gonna share the screen.
Such a dream car that I forgot what it freaking's called. Yes,
Scion
dude.
TC. This thing?
Yes.
Two-door. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It was the one up there on the top, like the second picture. Like
One?
car, bro. I was like, that's it. That's it. It's wraps.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's the thing is like you'll never know because it's an infinite set of possibilities. So like I guess my point is that, you know, when you see and observe the hate in one other person, or if it is yourself, it's like one of those things where it's like it's important to at least acknowledge, okay, yes, I feel this way right now, but like there has to be some level of compassion. And
Yeah.
when your own judgment is on the line, you know, it depends on some kind of judgment, aka the court system or whatever the heck it is. But like, you know, it's like you would want that compassion. So
Yeah.
until you know you one can admit that there has to be some kind of level of understanding, compassion, even if you don't agree with it, and you could still, you know, kind of like, yo, you really shouldn't do that. You really shouldn't hate on this group of people, or you should leave those damn Priuses alone. It's like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
There's got to, I feel like there has to be some kind of compassion because you're ultimately also denying compassion for yourself in the process of freaking doing so.
Wise.
Yeah. So,
Dude.
yeah.
Goddamn. I don't know. I mean, that's a good point. And I agree, dude. I realize my hate of Priuses are getting too much. At a certain point, I don't know. I just give up on the hate because it's like, it's so stupid. It's so like
Oh,
dumb for
dude.
me to. And it's like sometimes it was just fun. I'm like, all right, there's a car I hate. You know, I've never
Yeah.
hated a car before. Prius was my first hated car. So it's like,
It's
you know,
also duality. It's the duality of life, though.
yeah,
Just a
yeah,
fucking car, man.
yeah.
Joke. You know what I mean? I get
Like
it. I get
half
that.
the time it was like, yeah, it became a joke. Then I actually started getting irritated, and then it became a joke again. I just hate Priuses. You know, I don't know.
Dude, that's funny.
And one of my friends, like, she has a Prius, but she never told me because I hate Priuses. And then it's just like, there's a red Prius Prime thing. And I'm like,
There's a Prius Prime.
that's the thing is they
How's it
think it's a
different?
sports car. It's just an upgraded model, Prius Prime. Dude, I swear there's like a group of Prius owners that they think Prius is a sports car. The way they drive it, they go 100 miles and then that thing wobbles at 100 miles. Like the front wheels wobble. So the steering just starts
Oh, this is
shaking.
what I. Oh, really? I didn't know that
Yeah.
was a thing.
That's good. They're
Dude, yeah.
not built for it, bro. They're not built for it.
Damn.
I
Dude,
mean, you right. I don't blame the car, right?
this is
Prius
exactly
Prime,
what I
this
saw
one.
yesterday. This is so funny that we're talking about this. I saw one yesterday, and like I had a specific moment of where I was really aware of the car. I was really looking at it park and watching it do everything. I was
Yeah.
like listening to the sound it makes when it parks. So
Yeah.
it's they have a solar roof.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Apparently, Hyundai, they got their Sonata. They also got a solar roof. They charge the battery while they're parked.
All right, they give
Makes
it
sense.
credit. That is cool.
Yeah.
You stamp this dog.
This looks like a Corolla now. I don't even know what to say
Yeah,
anymore.
I know.
This ain't a Prius anymore.
Yeah,
It's like a fucking Pokemon, bro.
yeah. I don't. Points of introspection.
Yeah.
Do that.
Some dumb topic could be taken to such depth and it
Yeah,
reveals such things within yourself of like intolerance towards stupid things. Because you're like, have you, like, if someone hates gay people a little too much,
yeah,
it's because they have gay tendencies sometimes.
yeah. Like
You
to
know,
see themselves within a group of people that they hate, so they just join the bandwagon of hating, so that way they're not looked at,
yeah.
or perceived.
Yeah. It's like when they hate a little too much, it's like, well, that's because when they were a kid or they were doing something and then they got shat on or people called them gay. And then it's like, yeah, now
Right.
we're supposed to hate on gay people. because it's almost like the victim becomes the bully, and then that's a cycle. It reminds me of that, where you can either take your past experiences, and if you don't process them, it'll just become a source of hate for you, or it'll propagate through you. It's like you got raised in an abusive family, then you eventually are part of an abusive family, and
Right.
that pattern is also common. And it's just like, yeah, dude, it's like, how do you detach yourself from the patterns is by observation,
With
preaching.
yourself, being
Yeah,
so real with yourself, because people are so scared. And I don't mean to generalize, but like a lot of people are so scared of being so real with themselves and just looking at their things, that they
yeah,
also perceive as flaws or, whatever it is. Like they don't want to ask themselves why they perceive something within themselves or from the collective society as a flaw. And so they're just like, nah, let me shove it away and like hate it too because I have it in me. And like I kind of hate myself in the process. As I'm hating these people, I'm also hating myself. It's like
yeah.
this like, crazy dynamic, being
It,
real with yourself to the point where you can observe all of those dark tendencies or those dark things or whatever it is that you've been through. So that way you're not projecting it and passing it along. Like that takes a level of
yeah.
truth.
And just as a topic of discussion to highlight the point even further, it's like when I take a look at vegans that have been meat eaters in the past,
Yeah.
and now like they convert to being a vegan,
Yeah.
and now they hate every person that eats meat.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
kind of this similar dynamic where it's just
Yep.
like they don't like that they did it before. They can't show compassion for themselves, so then they hate everyone that is not in line with how they lead their own life.
Yes.
And
As like
it's
I
so
guess like a
many.
sort of compensation.
Exactly. That's also like kind of these boomers that can't accept that Gen Z is doing this thing. I
Right.
mean, like there's like watch collections in the past, and now it's like people collect sneakers, right? And they're like, oh my God, the sneaker's only like $20 net worth of material. And it's like, why is it going for like thousands of dollars? It's like, it doesn't make sense. It's like, but there's shit in every generation that doesn't make any sense, And that's the thing is like, I don't really know how a person, like, you don't really know what the person going on in their head, but it's like, how do you even go towards empathy? Because it feels like a lot of times we have intolerance towards some parts of things and the way they happened. And sometimes it's difficult to see empathy within that, even though it doesn't rub people the wrong way. Like, because in my head, what I'm thinking about is like social media.
Yeah.
We're supposed to know everyone's situation. It should have created empathy, but instead, it's just started like promoted people shit talking each other a way
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
And then there's like people said like, oh, it's because people are anonymous. I'm like, dude, even on like LinkedIn or Twitter, where people who that person's handle is. That handle has a direct connection to their real life identity, but they still shit talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like where does that like knowing other people's experiences and what they've been through lead to like you or not you, I keep saying you, but lead to lead to that
Dude.
person not having empathy for the other person. It could be gay. It could be anything. It's like even if a person was vegan and the other time it's like someone was a carnivore, it's like how do you not have empathy? You were that before, but it's almost like they hate them more because they were before. If a ve
Right.
like I know vegans that were like I mean in India, right? A lot of people are born vegetarian. They're born in a vegetarian, so they've never even touched meat, and sometimes they have more compassion for meat eaters or people that eat because they've never understood it and they're like, oh, I just respect them because like that's their reality. You know what I mean? Just like I didn't if I grew up in a household that ate meat all the time and I ate meat throughout my childhood, that's like what can you do really against that? Are you supposed to know from birth that eating this is bad or this is good? It's like the amount of it becomes more and more irrational, the hate and the feeling, the more I feel like when you have experienced it versus when you haven't. So it's just like it's interesting where sometimes it shows up as empathy and compassion because you've been in that position, and sometimes it shows up as like hate. Like I know some people that are like, oh man, I didn't get a job after college, so I had to do some like waiter jobs or these like side gigs. And every time they see it, they hate it because they see themselves having to do this and like, oh, why are you this? Why don't you grow up? Because they have this insecurity, and
Mhm.
that's how at least how I saw it. But it's like
Mhm.
I don't know.
Infinite set of
It's
dimensions is all I keep thinking about. It's
yeah.
like there's gonna be the people that have never eaten meat before that have compassion for meat eaters, and there's gonna be the vegans that absolutely lose their shit when they see somebody even take a bite out of a steak. you know,
Or
and this,
they go to In and Out and be like, "Did you know that In and Out has beef
dude,
patties?"
I
Or
know,
some
bro,
shit like that. It's like, what the hell are you
crazy.
doing? Just you have nothing else to do. It's like what, half an ounce, quarter ounce?
Yeah, and then the funniest part though, and I'll
Yeah,
just say this about veganism, and I'm not a hater of it. I've even thought about it at one point, but it's like I
yeah,
plants scream on a microscopic level when they are ripped off from the roots.
yeah.
So where's your
That
compassion there? Your
you could
compassion,
go.
like, don't eat meat. But
Yeah,
because the cows, they cry and they have best friends, and when you separate them from their best friends, they're sad and they like music and all. Cool, I agree, totally get it. But what about the plants when they're screaming on a microscopic level, or when you play music for plants, they literally like grow more when you talk to them and you actually say positive things to them. They receive that vibration and they grow also more too, and they can actually detect when you're coming home. They actually can detect that. But they
yeah,
can live like miles away when you're coming back. They
yeah,
know. They know. Okay, what about that? And
yeah,
it's like, oh, well, it's still better to eat plants than uh, subjective experience. Subjective,
yeah, yeah.
it's like one of those things where it just is, and that it just really is up to you as the individual as to what experience you want to live, and that anyone else that wants to judge you is also judging you from the extent that they already judge themselves on a level that they might not even be aware of.
And to the same degree, dude, it's like most of them have like pets that eat meat, and they literally
There's
buy
yeah,
pet food
yeah,
that has meat,
right,
and it's like, so really, it that's what I'm saying is like this illogical fixation thing.
right,
It goes back to
right,
that. It's an illogical fixation,
yeah,
but people really want to make it real. And this doesn't even, it goes way, way beyond vegans, but it's just,
totally,
it's so stark of an example because it happens and it's like, people know about it,
yeah,
but it happens like at work where people are illogically fixated that like, coding is the only thing that's important, or
right.
like in certain
Sales,
professions it's like, yes, yeah, exactly. And then it's just like, dude, it's just like, it makes me wonder. Like, I mean, I see it within myself, so I don't wonder it too much because it's like I don't have compassion for Priuses, but I get the
yeah,
yeah, it's such an easy example. It's just like I gotta think about different ones. Sometimes when you see yourself in people, you either like them more or you hate them more. You
yeah,
can't stay neutral. You know what I mean? This guy reminds me of when I was in high school, and I didn't really like myself in high school. Then it's just
yeah.
like there's always this weird vibe to it.
I think that you can find a neutral space the more you find acceptance within yourself when it's being
Yep.
reflected back to you. It's
Yep.
like if you see that guy that's still behaving the same way that you were in high school, right? It's definitely a part of you that either you just kind of like went like this to,
Yeah.
or and it's coming back for you to see it, or as a very least, it's a reminder, and for you to be able to check in with yourself and be like, damn, yep, I see that love and compassion for you because I hope that you get past that. Or if you're meant to live a life like that, all the best to you, but that ain't me. And
Yeah.
you now know that it's not you, not serving you. That
Yeah.
person is unintentionally serving you, not like, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
help adding to
It's
your
an
understanding
opportunity.
of yourself. Yeah. And we don't know when we're also being that example or, of being of service to people in that way too, which is really cool. Which is why I also feel like, yeah, if you're gonna fuck up, bro, royally, bro.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna like something for whatever reason, be
You gotta
that
own up
way.
to it because think about how dumb it'll feel when it's like this guy doesn't like Priuses.
Yeah.
It's such a dumb thing, you know? And it almost like, it's like some people, I don't know, dude. Some people don't understand it. It's like, how do you not like a certain type of car? And then it's just like, I don't know. I like people that are honest, right?
Yeah.
And that's easy to understand.
Yeah.
And but they're both more linked than not. And that kind of these attritions that you see on the more micro level,
Yeah.
they give you a fuller understanding of what you're about.
Yeah.
This goes back to the original thing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no,
I'm getting,
you're tying it together though. You're tying the loose
yeah.
ends.
It's not
And
just about like not liking Prius. It's not the topic necessarily. Like you
no,
said, even with the guy that reminds you of high school, it's an opportunity. So every positive, negative thing that you feel or find is an
yeah.
opportunity for you to show compassion to yourself because there's some part being reflected back that you don't like or that you are attached to. being like, I need to be smart. I used to be smart when I was a kid, and then I'm still attached to this image of like being smart. And you see that reflected back, and you're like getting like anxious or nervous or nerve wracking. It's like, well, I got to prove myself. And then
Yeah.
it's like, well, don't get drawn in. It's,
Yeah.
that's the
It's a
past.
it's a lear yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lesson. It's just like a checkpoint. A yes or no prompt has appeared on your screen.
Yeah.
You click no. Like,
Yeah.
even when it's someone coming up with some bullshit from the past of like whether it's a drama or whether it's a freaking, behavior pattern or like whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's really just like that. And then sometimes it manifests as in a more difficult situation, like people pleasing or whatever it is. We talked about that after our first one, you and
Yeah.
I, being real, like you said. Like, again, what do I really want to do right now? What is the best? And not from the perspective of, well, to keep myself safe, I need to do this, which is just
Yeah.
repeating the same cycle again.
Yeah.
Instead, I am just literally coming to this now, to this realization myself now. What is it that's going to align me with my highest timeline? And you look at your decisions and you're like, okay, what would my higher self do? What would be the best thing for me to do that will shift me into where I truly want to go, not where safety and biological protection mechanisms are trying to take me?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's so hard.
And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
There's no, like, you can't know the next step. That's the most fucked up part. It's like you don't know when that thing is going to reflect back unless you're just aware of it. You're aware of the moment being in the present. And I think
Yeah.
that's why I agree with that message so much. It's because that's truly solves a lot more problems with way less thinking. It's almost like the intelligence will backfire. And
Analytical
so,
voice in your head or whatever it is. Yeah. Like, and that's the thing is that, being in the present moment and trying to figure out what it is that you're going to do next is how you actually get to where you want to be, like on a quantum level. And I love bringing this up because we're so conditioned to think in a linear fashion. And like you said, I love when you said this. I was like freaking out internally when you said this, when you said like, okay, like focus on the why, the intention versus the how and whatever,
yeah,
because that will come. Like, it's more about why you want to do something. And, on a quantum level, like all possibilities already exist. All
yeah,
of them already exist. Each
yeah,
reality that you could possibly think of moving to already exists. And it's a matter of locking in on the present moment, checking out each possibility that can happen, registering how you feel. Like, how does your nervous system and your body respond when you think about this possibility or this decision versus this decision? What does your intuition tell you? And
risk
feeling
averse
contracted.
stuff.
Yeah, when we talked about contraction and expansion,
Yep.
like, if you feel contracted when you're thinking about, a certain thing versus expanded and like light and like whatever, that's another example of how you can move to something that's better for you, or other things like your reality kind of like showing you things like synchronicities and stuff, but that's another topic. But like, you know operating from that level, and I'm just getting to this now, taking
Yeah.
notes on this yesterday, so I'm like spilling it right now. And
Shit.
it's so
All right.
cool. It's like the other way, the fear-based stuff, like, oh, but
Yeah.
dude, you went through this really crazy experience and this kind of feels similar, so like react the same way again. Like,
Yeah.
I recently did that too, where I'm like, shit, like kind of reacted from fear instead.
Just keep talking.
I think the point of it is that we don't have to be so bound to all these situations that we end up in, and that really it is up to us, bro. It really is up to us on how we want to perceive this life. It's up to us on how we want to interact with other people,
Yeah.
and how, our relationship with other things is also, it's happening for you, not to you,
Yeah.
right? That's the whole purpose behind that, that saying is that it's not happening, to you, it's happening for you, is because you're ultimately learning about yourself, and the more you learn about yourself, the more you can actually go about this life the way that your true source being self wants to,
Yeah.
versus all the fear, the conditioning, all this stuff that's like not really, like, it's not, it is you in a way, like
Yeah.
it's like, what do you want to embody? It's embodiment. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, that's I think something that I've avoided for a long ass time is I would know all this shit, but I would never embody it. I've never really put the weight behind kind of the thoughts or actions. And so the more I've been doing that, the more I've been realizing deeper about what actually the philosophy is. And
Yeah.
sometimes I misunderstand how to apply it, and then I learn, it's the process. You got to be going with the process. And It's good that we're doing that, dude. And I feel like at this point, we're like at threshold of leveling up our authenticity. That's how
Yeah.
I'm feeling it because we're hesitating. There's something that we want to say, but we're hesitant to say it. I don't know if you could feel it, but it's like your energy levels going up, going up. It's like before you reach the peak, there's something that's like capping out. And then we're going down. It's like, ah, lower energy. And I've noticed that within what I was saying too is like there's something that I'm still maybe not ready to put out yet, but that is going to be my next level of being authentic.
Yeah.
And I haven't but think about it as like maybe there's like this subconscious fear of saying
Yeah.
it and then being rejected because it's like it's so core to what I'm thinking or what I
Yeah.
am or what I believe in.
Right.
And
We touched upon this
maybe
last time, I think.
yeah,
Yeah. This is interesting.
and
It's
that's
funny
really
you say
interesting
that.
because this is helping us.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it is. I
Yeah.
think, for me, it's like, at least funny enough in this conversation, I don't really feel like a limit necessarily. I feel like it's more of like I just have like so many thoughts in my head that I don't know what to say first.
Oh
But
shoot. Okay.
that still is a mirror for me, even because, even again, like with like, putting out my music or like wanting to start posting more content that's related to like the gym and like music, fear of being seen kind of creeps up and it's not as intense as it used to be.
Yeah.
But it's like, and there's a part of me that's kind of conquering it because I'm here talking with you for a freaking hour and almost 20 minutes. But it's like, and you're gonna post it, but it's like there's a
Yeah.
part of me that's like, even going back to like, for example, certain people still holding on to a certain image of me that no longer exists in their head, and that if I were to deviate from that image that they hold upon me or whatever, that like like some kind of reaction. But then it's like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You're gonna like not talk to me anymore. But
Yeah.
part of me knows but then there's also, and this is kind of what we were talking about at the very beginning of this, like how much do you know versus if you need to actually experience something to be able to fully embody and understand,
Yeah.
right? And that's one of those things for me, at least. And that's how how you were just explaining how you feel, right? With feeling like, like I want to say something, but like I like at the same time feel like if I say something, then whatever. It's kind of the same thing with me with like content, for example. And I'm just now getting comfortable with it. Like I'm like, okay, like dude, like whatever,
Yeah.
But there
And
was
I've
like a
never
part.
done it before as well. This is the first time I ever posted anything ever.
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
We're in
It's like,
this.
and I'll
Yeah.
be surprised because the mirror effect is just happening.
It's the
Because
time.
I think that again, this is good that we at least have this space to be able to really talk about these things. And like it is inner alchemy and inner practice. I think that's what we actually started saying in the beginning was like inner alchemy. How there's like different lessons and stuff that we have to sometimes just really understand on our own, like through physically experiencing it. And that's the whole point of an actual physical experience that we're like literally having right now.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we'd just be atoms that are making up a rock or like I don't know, something else, but like here we are as atoms that are formed to be the being of a human, and
Yeah.
specifically your formulation of atoms made you and my formulation of atoms made me, and I've had my experiences with the dragonfly.
Dude, I was
Definitely
about to.
had you definitely had those experiences with the damn priestess.
Yeah. And we
We
all
mirror
have
each other. Yeah,
fucking Priuses, bro.
think I mirror you to an extent too with the Priuses, but
Yeah.
like I'm just kind of like if I see them, I'm like, okay,
You get a little sus.
it's like a little just an oddly shaped car.
I mean,
Don't
okay,
think
I
I
don't.
know you do. I know.
I'm cautious, man.
Okay.
You don't know what a Prius is capable of. The driver. It's
Yeah.
like,
Loki, no.
yeah.
All right. Just let it out.
No.
Just Loki, you need to relax. Shh. Shh. All right. I tried. Where were you? What were you saying?
I don't know, man.
Freaking freeze.
I actually don't want to go near one. It's more the opposite. Every time I see a
Oh,
Prius, I move away a lane. I'm like avoidant behavior.
how fast do
Yeah.
you move into the next lane?
I mean, it's like I notice it, and if I feel like they're swerving, they're going fast, they want to turn. Like, dude, one Prius tried to race me. It's a Prius.
What?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I
Oh,
don't need
that's
I
a
don't even have
different
a
type of
sports
guy.
car or anything like that. It's just like these damn Priuses, bro.
Yeah, that's concerning. The
They're
type of
crazy.
character that you're dealing with.
I feel like every state has their own drivers and their issues around
Don't
that.
even get me started. I miss that shit.
Dude, apparently Florida people are crazy. I don't know, man.
Why do you think they're making GTA 6 off of freaking Florida, dog? There's a reason why they're doing it. Love
I
my
mean,
Florida peeps.
it was
Yeah,
what was it?
it's Florida.
GTA 4 was San Andreas.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason why they're making, dude. I love my Florida peeps. 25 years represent. You know how it is. 561. You know that's the area code. But like,
Yeah.
dude, not without its things, bro. People, wow, they're
Dang. Yeah,
old.
it is California. So San Andreas.
Yeah.
Where is that even? Oh, it's the fault line. Oh, never mind. Bro. But how's your week been?
Oh,
We can
I
talk
know, I
about
know.
something
I mean,
else.
this is the meat of the
I
whole
mean,
thing.
we
It's cool.
delivered value. I think people would like
Definitely,
to know more about you too, bro.
dude. I'm chilling,
What'd you
man.
do this week? Oh,
This week, it's just work. I worked. I just worked out a ton. I skipped Monday, but then I went Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I skipped Friday. I went today, hit back, and tomorrow I'm gonna go hit chest. I work on some music later today.
nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna work
Creating
on
the
some
national
music.
anthem?
That's gonna happen. I haven't started working on it because I was just finishing up some other things on another
Hmm.
song, but I want to prepare a release for this upcoming week. I'm thinking either like a single or an EP.
Yeah.
Um, I have like this producer meetup here in Charlotte on August 25th that I'm trying to prepare for. It's a huge event where a bunch of producers come out from all over the country pretty much. It's this guy named Steven Cymatics. He's like really big in the producer industry. And he like sets up these things where he has these producer meetups. He had some in Florida, all over the place.
Yeah.
So they're doing one in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm trying to get ready for that. I want to drop like at least one full thing before I go, so I
Yeah.
could like actually present that to people. Like they
Shit.
have like a thing where you could play it on stage. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's like a whole kind of meetup. So I'm trying to prepare for that. I'm trying to roll out more music. But yeah, I definitely want to work on the anthem too, bro. I'm trying to think of some kind of Casino Crusadia, right? So I'm thinking, okay, well, something that kind of sounds a little old town-ish, like old age, but
Oh,
like kind of combined with some new age type of vibe, where it's like you know what I mean? Like some kind of
yeah.
like medieval, but like with a new age type of twist.
It's gonna be difficult because
Yeah,
anytime it's a national anthem or it's like that, I'm like, there's a level of cringeness associated with anthems,
and that's what I'm trying to
national
avoid.
anthem. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I wanted with this one. Like,
Yeah.
I know that Rami's like, let's do it. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. Wait, I'm not giving no promised deadlines, no dates, no release dates for that. That is like, and I want to keep it that way too because I want it to be good. I want it to be
Yeah.
like actually resonant with you know, I'm not gonna be able to hit everybody, but I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and make it as like inclusive for the collective as much as possible, right? Because I want everyone to feel somewhat resonant of it, the same way that the environment was created within Crusadia, where everyone feels included. I kind of want it to be the same thing. So,
Yeah.
whether it's a beat, or whether it's just like an instrumental, like a melody or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't even started it. Literally, we just started talking about it yesterday, so that's somewhere on the to-do list.
Yeah.
The
Dude, no
first thing,
rush.
but it's not the
You
last
gotta
either.
can't
Yeah.
rush the creative process.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Like my weekends are so chill. I'm not like a super eventful guy. I mean, I
Yeah.
usually will go like in a nature walk or something like that. I moved to a rather quiet place in North Carolina. So, where I live, it's just very easy going. It's very slow. I
That's
like that. Like
nice.
I like that
Yeah.
because again, you were talking about South Florida, dude. It was too much. My nervous system got so used to all the shit that goes down there
Yeah.
that even now I still sometimes struggle with acclimating to the level of peace that I have here. It's a
Shit.
real thing, dog. You get so used to all the crazy stuff happening depending on where you live. Obviously, for me, it was just chaotic. It was just
Yeah.
always, I was always on the move. I was always going somewhere, so it's like really acclimate myself to the peace is something I'm still working through. So, I've been really trying to sit with that. I'm not filling up my weekends with a ton of stuff to do.
Yeah.
It's music, it's meditation, or, I'll play a Star Wars game here and there.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Or like, I'm not over here
Dang.
like playing with them. It's
You
fun.
building it
Lego.
out?
I
Nice.
just built a Lego set this past week. So
Shit.
that's kind of, yeah. How about you, man? What's
Yeah,
happening in
I'm
your
burnt
world? What you
out.
up to?
I'm officially burnt out, bro. I
Yeah.
can't do anything anymore. I gotta take a break. I gotta take like this weekend
Why? Why do you
off or
feel
some
burnt
shit.
out? Like, happened?
I've been single-mindedly focusing on this journaling app thing that I want to create.
Yes.
So I started it in the beginning. It was super easy. Everything was working. And then it was storing locally. Everything's good. I even got a website up for it. But the issue is it doesn't, if you log in and you do it, I don't know how to do those LLM things yet. But I wanted to run off of a server, ideally. which I
Uh,
know how to do. Like locally, I rent a server out in AWS or whatever. Pretty much, I've been trying to deal with like the back end issue of it where it's super private because I don't want anyone's journal entries being leaked out. So there's
right.
this thing of like no one can read it except you, right? So even if it's stored, it's encrypted, and then you have your key.
Yeah.
And pretty much it's like going to a bank locker and opening the thing, and that's your journal entries. And then you're gonna
Right.
have shit along with it where it's like useful reflections, like kind of what we talk about. How do you reframe that perspective? Let's just say you had a thing, you don't even realize it because half the time you don't realize that. Like we have awareness, but in order to push us to the next level, I'm thinking like we got to have a place where you can get a reflection back as to being like, what are the things that you could be looking at? I don't know, dude. And I've been thinking
Yeah.
about it way too much in like a spiral fashion in the past 4 days, and I'm like, what am I doing? It's like this point of like I'm not trying, but all my time is being spent there,
Uh,
right? If I'm not doing that, I'm attending meetings or doing some other shit. And then I don't know, like last night, no, night before that, I didn't sleep, like not even an hour. And then like last night as well, I'm sleeping at like 3 or some shit. And it's just
Jeez.
like people keeping me up or like something's happening. I'm like, Jesus Christ. An hour or two later, I woke up and it started working again. And then, like literally here, I was like my neck kept hurting, so I'm like this, and I just fell asleep. And then,
Dude,
like
that's crazy.
I'm like, bro, and I'm like, what am I doing? I know like 4 or 5 days back, right? It started, I think, like 7 days ago now. 4 or 5, 7 days back, I knew like this is too much. I gotta reel it back. Like something's taken over, ego, whatever the hell it is. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, I gotta take it easy, like not do anything for a day. But then I just felt so bad doing nothing because I'm like, I gotta do this.
Dude.
How am I just lazing around doing nothing? What's
Yeah.
wrong with me? It's like this old habit of beating myself up because like I haven't found something
Yeah.
this fun or passionate to do, and I'm like, there's people waiting. Like my mind is like making shit up. It's like there's people waiting for this. It's like it has to be done. It has to be done to a certain level. So like I did a project. I'm like, I don't like it. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna start a new one, and I'm gonna make this even better. And I have an idea, and I've like built out this prompt shit and trying to see like how to make it encrypted or some shit. I'm like, and then part of me feels like, damn, this is kind of beyond your level. And then another part's like, oh my God, but people are waiting on this. It's not even people. It's like, I'm waiting on it. I want to
Yeah.
create it.
That's what I.
And then I'm like just torturing myself. And then the more I feel that pressure, the more I want to do it quickly. And the less I read shit, I'm like, what's going wrong? I'm not really paying attention. I'm not being patient with it. And then the more impatient I get, I'm like, why isn't it being done quicker? This, that, whatever. And then I'm like, fuck it.
And then
Like,
there's also why am I not being patient?
exactly. And
I
then it's
know.
just like, and I'm like, I don't have the patience to read this right now. It's like, let me just paste it into like ChatGPT and tell me what's wrong. And then I'll paste it back. I'm like, just doing some lazy shit when I should be reading things through. And I'm like, and then I go outside and then I have like my meetings. And even there, I'm like, I gotta be the one that's grounded. I'm like, holy shit. And then, so my, and then it's like during night, I gotta like, I'm like, this is where I gotta work. And then half the time it's not working because I'm not really paying attention. I'm like, damn, let me just watch a video on the side or something. And I'm like, what is the point? Just go to sleep. So it's like I've
It's
officially
funny.
burnt myself out and I gotta like do something,
Yeah.
bro. My eyes, they're gonna go inside my head at some point.
I was watching a video, a channeled message, and she was talking about being comfortable in the stillness and
Yeah.
that not forcing, like you've already planted the seeds for fruition. Like you already did. And it's a
Yeah.
matter of see the fruition yet because the seeds are still in the soil. Like,
Yeah.
and that hit me hard because I'm like, yeah, I almost feel like I'm supposed to be doing something. And that's kind of why I brought up the whole nervous system thing too, and being so used to,
Oh,
because you can easily condition yourself to getting used to like you always got to have the ball rolling, and like there's also company culture that does that shit to you, and there's always there's other people like that will try and tell you that because that's also their reality. So it's like just really analyzing where that pressure is really coming from, and dude, I think you should give yourself a break. I mean, if you want my freaking
yeah.
opinion, I
I
mean,
gotta do that. But
you
I
just
can't relax. I don't know what's happening, dude. I was fine dealing with everything before this idea really I like was like, I gotta do it now.
yeah.
It only happened a week and a half ago. I think last Wednesday. Literally
Mhm.
4 days before I talked to you.
Yeah.
And I talked to you
I
last Sunday. So
yeah.
yeah. 4 or
I
5
think
seconds.
it's just also because my dad actually told me this example, and this is one of the last things I'll say because I gotta go after this. But like, it's the fucking fly again, dude. Um, and they're fast too. Like, it will see that I'm coming after it, and it's like, nope, I'm gonna come back and bother you later.
It
It's
flies, bro.
I think so. I mean, dude, I think
Yeah.
so. I've been trying to figure that one out. I think it does mean something.
It's
There's
like
some kind of
testing
like,
you for a reason.
yeah, like testing my patience or just, because that's also an aspect of me too, I guess, and I'm still trying to kill it. I think that's what it is. Anyway,
And I'm talking about it to you for a certain reason too. And you're giving me advice that you could give yourself.
totally,
Dude,
totally.
that's it. Circle back to the first thing we talked about in the podcast.
1,000 freaking percent, brother. That's exactly what it is. And I even received confirmation based on the time here. There was a moment where it said 719, which is my birthday in reverse. So I know that that's actually something. Because that
Shit.
when you said that is when that came up.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that my dad, he told me, you know, take your hand and just go like this. And like, you know, you can't see anything but your hand, like at that point, once your hand is covering your like entire face. So like
Yeah.
now take your hand off of your face and look at your hand and realize that there's 5 fingers, right?
Yeah.
So imagine your fingers being each thing that you want to do. Like, our brains can only perceive and receive so much information at once. I think Joe Dispenza talked about this. It's only like 2 billion bits out of like the 15 that it's like coming in at you on a constant basis. Like, you can only process so much at once. So it's
Yeah.
like where's the grace for yourself to be able to like just take what you can, do what you can, leave the rest. And not
Yeah.
that trust that as a human being, our senses are not like an aliens, for example, where they could just do everything all at once.
Yeah.
For us, it's like, hey, we got these sensory limitations and we have to acknowledge that. And that's the integration, that's the embodiment of
Well,
living the human experience. Sounds like a really nice way of saying just do what you can.
yeah.
I need things to be done in a certain way sometimes. And if
That's
the only way that I will detangle that mindset that I have sometimes is by using those, like explaining things to myself that way. Or for me, using this example where it's like, okay, like if I have all these things I'm trying to do at once, I can't see anything. I
yeah.
can't even see anything because I'm just like blocked by all these things that I'm trying to do. And I think that's kind of just the point here. I don't know what it has to do with that fucking fly, other than the fact that maybe I need more patience with myself.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's something else about that because I don't want flies in my fucking house. There's not a lot of them either. There's just like here and there, they just be fucking popping up. So,
Yeah. We got
thank
another
you
one
too,
out.
bro. I mean,
Yeah.
this is equally helping me just as much as whatever I'm saying is helping you. So, I appreciate you having me on, brother. Really, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so
Same here,
much.
dude. Same
Yeah,
here.
dude.
Let's do another one.
Let's figure it out.
I'll stop the recording.